presentation, please enjoy a cup of virtual coffee. And be sure to stay on to the end and complete the survey. At that time, you'll have the opportunity to let us know which brand of coffee you prefer, and we'll send you a gift card so that you can have a real cup of coffee. Following the presentation, we will provide you with a link to a copy of the slides and a recording. In addition, a copy of Enterprise Strategy Group's white paper, Rapidly Evolving Flash Storage Architecture Delivers Business Value. Flash storage is one of the latest developments in the storage market. There is good reason why you and others are interested in flash storage. Not only has the price come down dramatically, it can deliver a significant competitive advantage for you while driving down capital and operational costs of IT. Today, we are fortunate to have Jeff Dable from Hewlett-Packard join us. Jeff is a senior storage architect, and he has over 20 years of experience in the storage marketplace. One last piece of housekeeping before we begin. There will be a question and answer period at the end of the presentation. Feel free to enter your questions in the question box on the upper right corner of your screen as you think of them, and we'll answer them after Jeff's presentation. With all of that out of the way, I'd like to turn the presentation over to Jeff at this time.
Okay, thank you, David. Can everybody see my screen so far? There, okay. David, can you see what we're doing?
Yep, I see your screen.
Okay, just want to make sure. Okay, so let's get started. And my name is Jeff Dable. Good morning, everybody. I want to welcome you and thank you for joining. And today we're just going to talk about Flash and where that's going and where it is today. So, storage itself is a great place, but a strange place to be these days. In 2005 we were talking about, one zettabyte. Now in 2020 we're talking about 40 zettabytes. So it's just leaps and bounds. So if we were at Starbucks and a terabyte were a cup of coffee, we would have sold 100 million cups of coffee in 2005 and 40 billion by 2020. I mean, it's just leaps and bounds growing. It's unbelievable. But in 2005, we sold them for $3, and now by 2020, we'll sell them for about 1 penny. So it's actually, 1 penny. So you're talking about, capacity is going through the roof, but the good thing for the consumer is that the prices are coming down. So this drives, we're constantly looking to expand the capacities and the speeds of them and the response times. They're not going away anytime soon. The roles will change, though. Cheap SSD and flash storage, less primary, first tier more, and this will probably be more archive and lower tiers. So, we're doing that kind of today with tiering type solutions where we're having some SSD and then sub-tiering it to larger, bigger capacity, less cost disks. Which, we're able to do that by, making the sectors larger, from 512 to 4K using the SMR. That's allowing us to have greater, larger drives. But some of the issues with that are the fact that they're getting bigger is great, but, getting the performance you need, being able to string around many, many drives to get the performance you need, and also if you have any kinds of failures in a RAID set, the rebuild times, now it could be hours or even days. So it puts you in a situation where you compromise your redundancy and lose your SLAs. So there's good and bad with everything. So Flash, and how fast is fast? For the last 20 years we compared performance-based IOs. When we configured systems, we always talk about IOs. And IOs are great. We need to suffice the IOs that we need for our solutions. But, being a car guy, when you're talking about IOs, it's like talking about how many slow cars you can fit on a racetrack. IOs is how much work we can do in parallel with the amount of drives that we have striped together. But the real thing that we really need to get our applications up and running fast and to respond to the way we want it to respond is to have a lower latency. So that would be the fast car going around the track. As you can see, in the top left-hand corner, we have 60 milliseconds in our old hard drives. We've come down quite a bit. That's the latency time, the response time. So now we're down to 4 milliseconds. But still, 4 milliseconds when you're talking about a high load of I/O could, dramatically increase. Where SSD is right now, it's in microseconds, and things come in the future, things like memristor, that's in the nanoseconds. So, there's a big advantage of going with flash as opposed to disk for response time for your applications. So let's just talk about memristor in the future a little bit. As you can see down in the left-hand corner, that's your CPU. This is basically a server here. So that's your CPU with your execution stack. And then, next to that, in a new domain over here, you're looking at your L1, L2 cache, which is running in picosecond. And then you'll have your nanoseconds and your memory subsystem with your DRAM. And then you're going to have, and this is all a volatile RAM, by the way. And then over here in your storage subsystem, you're going to have your cache or your SSD there, and that will be microseconds. And then disk will be milliseconds. So if you look at it, there's a couple challenges here. Every time you go from one domain to another, it's 1,000 times penalty. So the closer you are to the CPU, the better response time you're going to get, and the lower the latency. So right now, in today's world, we're probably over here in microsecond with flash. To get here, we're going to be using a technology in the next 3 to 5 years called memristor, which is a non-volatile memory that's going to sit outside of the server or inside of the server, however we configure that, where if we do lose the server, we'll still maintain the cache. So disk drives change dramatically, not really dramatically, I should say, but SSD has changed dramatically over the years. So the disk drives themselves are, maybe 2 times, the capacity they were in 2010, where the SSDs have increased 38 times. So if you look at that and you think about that, and the price drops every time the capacity goes up probably half, you're coming down in price. And if we're looking at going forward, they're going to grow, in leaps and bounds to what disks could be. So as the price comes down, the capacity goes up, you're going to see the price drop on SSD dramatically. And even today, we look at, what we can get, in SSD versus spinning disk. So HPE, we've, with our 1.9 patented CMLC drives, these are 20% more usable right off the shelf than anybody else has out there today because of our adaptive sparing technology we use in our 3-part. We're able to get more storage and we don't have to have any spares. But this lowers the price with our deduplication to 4-to-1 compaction to a $2 per gig usable. Okay, and there's a high density, 45 terabytes of flash in the 2U. So our system will scale to 460 terabytes in 7450, and with the compaction, it'll be about 1.3 petabytes. So let's just look at how we used to use flash and where we're going and where we are today. So first, we limited the acceleration to legacy arrays, and then, we kind of, the price started coming down. We started going to niche applications and sub-1 tiering and that kind of stuff. Now, with the price point, a lot of customers are looking at, hey, we could actually fit this into, our solution today. Instead of getting a traditional disk system, price point, it's the same price as 15K disks. Why not go with the flash? So it's really cool. This is a really cool slide here because you look at the 1.92 terabyte disks, SSDs today, it'll take 8 of those to give you the same capacity as 300 gig 15K drives, 205 of them. So you're talking about a huge consolidation of space, rack space, power and cooling, and so on and so forth, and getting the same capacity using a compaction, a deduplication technology. So the price is actually cheaper than it would be with 300 gig drives. So that's quite amazing. And if you think about what you get along with that, the other hidden surprise would be the fact that, these 8 drives over here outperform these 205 drives by 100%. This would be about, maybe 40 KIO, and this would be about 80 KIO. More importantly, this would be about 20 milliseconds. This would be about 20 milliseconds of response time, and this will be at less than 1 millisecond response time for the same configuration. So you're getting the same amount of capacities, less of a price, better performance, and better response time. And along with that, as Mitch kind of hit on before, is that the power efficiency of these drives have caused an OpEx to come down in our solutions, lower power and cooling, rack space, data center space, and so on and so forth. So what that does, and I just use this as a competitor, but this goes along with anybody just about. Allows us to shrink a huge solution like this, with 98 U rack space using this kind of power into a small footprint, giving you the same resiliency, redundancy, better performance, same amount of capacity, and better latency than you would get with the big guy over here. So it's 3 times, just look at the numbers, I'm not even going to say that, but 8 times more power and 25 times more space. I mean, we're talking about shrinking data spaces and data center spaces and the cost of data center space. This is a huge thing, so customers are really looking at this. So one of the other things that we do, as far as competing with some of the other storage vendors who are all flash, is the fact that we have a completely 6.9 solution that matches what an EMC would do. So they can give you all the enterprise scalability. This is the big EMC VMAX box we're talking about, but that could be a Hitachi VSP also, or just about anybody out there. Give us the enterprise scalability, 0 recovery point objective, and tier 1 availability. But these big boxes can't give you the response time because maybe they make mixed tiering, flash, and disk, but they can't guarantee a response time under 1 millisecond. And they definitely can't, give you the price of a 15K HDD with the memory that they put in there for doing that. So with our solutions, you're talking about almost 1 million IOs, under $2 a gig, huge scalability, which nobody else could do, 6 nines capability, and on top of that, we're comparing this to startup vendors and so on and so forth. And one of the big things we see what our customers are loving is the fact that 3PAR is a known entity. Now, you're looking at storage, pure storage, Nimble, and you just probably saw Invictus maybe with Cisco, where they just halted engineering because they found out as they scaled the product up, it just fell apart. So 3PAR has been a known technology, been around since 2002. We sold over 3,600 new logos last year. There's over 10,000 systems out there running under the same operating system. And by the way, this operating system is the same for our flash arrays as any other array that we have out there. So if you have a 3PAR solution out there today, this will fit in there. It can be managed the same. It's the same OS, move data fluidly between what you have out there today and the flash storage. So just, another look at, what we can do versus competitors. We have a full feature set of replication, synchronous replication for RPOs of 0 and RTOs of 0, and also the scalability factor. We could start with 17450 node at a price point lower than our competitors, and as they scale up, they have to box swap, where we just add disk or add controllers in this case over here. So we could scale up to a 4-node, 1.4 petabyte solution of usable storage in a 10U, manage one solution at a cheaper price than our competitors. So, and this holds true for just about all our competitors out there. They can't give you the 6 nines, they can't give you the resiliency, they can't give you the feature set that 3PAR has. This was built as a mission-critical box, and it is with multi-controllers. And the manageability of one versus multiples is just, for customers, is just euphoria. So, just wanted to put that out there. Where memory's going, where flash is going, the futures with Memristor, flash versus disk, our solutions with the mission criticality that these other startups can offer you, and also the scalability and so on and so forth, and the known entity of a mission critical solution that's been out there, tried and true, tested. And that's kind of it for me. So, any questions and answers? I have the answers, but you guys probably have the questions. Let me know, and I'll be more than happy to answer.
Thank you, Jeff. I think that was very informative. Again, if anyone has questions, please use the box on the right side of your screen to submit questions. I did get one or two, and if you have a moment, Jeff, let me throw them out at you.
Sure.
Some of your competitors have better benchmarks than what you're talking about today. Are they using, or are you using traditional controllers, or what kind of controllers are you using for these arrays?
Well, these are our HP 3-par controllers. They're unique in the industry. They have multiple processors along with an ASIC that offloads a lot of the performance impacting feature sets that we have in there, which other competitors couldn't. But, you know, when you're talking about performance on a whole, you know, performance isn't just what a customer is looking for. I mean, we could deliver 1 million IOPS at under 1 millisecond. I mean, how many customers out there are even anywhere close to that? And, you know, it's not just that. When you're talking about getting a solution like that, you're talking about, you know, where does this fit in my environment for my business? Is this going to work, first off? Is it going to give me the redundancy I need? Does it have the feature set I would need if I wanted to replicate it from site to site? Again, not a known entity, so maybe faster, but, you know, it's a real gamble, you know, from what I could do from my standpoint and being a solution architect for years. So, I mean, I could put a bunch of memory in a box and get some really good performance, some SSDs in a direct attach server. That server goes down, I can't get to my data, so what good is it? And sure enough, most of the time when it does go down, it's in a critical time for business, and money's lost by doing that. So we feel that with HP solution, the performance that we have and the response time that we have is really close, or if not exceeds everybody else out there. Somebody else is out there that has better performance. I believe that they can't, and I know that they can't give the mission criticality and the feature sets that we have today, and the stability of our operating system. I know it was a long answer, but thanks. Next question.
Okay. I have another question. What type of replication, I'm sorry, I'm reading and scrolling, capability does this array provide, and is there a license cost for it?
Okay, good question. And there is a license cost for it, and it's by actual usable capacity. We offer long-distance asynchronous as well as synchronous and asynchronous. So, you know, synchronous is RPO is 0, RTO is 0, but there's a distance limitation on that, usually about 100 miles. Asynchronous could be just about anywhere. There's no response back from one array. So we could have that, and we have an asynchronous long distance that allows us to go synchronous between one grid and keep that, you know, in sync between maybe say New York and New Jersey, and then have another copy of it long distance. So we have all the feature sets of mission critical when it comes to replication. Big question, but there's cost for that because that's an option. But it's relatively inexpensive. So. And also one other thing, there's a cap on these solutions. So for instance, a small solution could have up to 48 SSDs, a cap, and the larger solution with 4 nodes would have up to 168 drives cap. And after that, all licenses are free.
Okay. Thanks, Jeff. I don't see any other questions, so I thank you for everyone for listening and submitting questions. And just a little bit about PKA. So for over 20 years, PKA has supplied enterprise IT solutions within the tri-state area. And we work with both corporate and public sector clients. PKA is an HP authorized partner on the New York OGS contract and the New Jersey WSCA contract. And I think these partnerships have really enabled us to solve our clients' infrastructure and complex challenges, providing them with really solid solutions. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Russ Chow, who is PKA's Director of Enterprise Solutions, and he's going to go through and give us a brief overview of our capabilities. Russ, are you?
Yes, thank you, David. Thanks, everyone. Let me just bring up, oops, sorry about that. Thanks everyone for joining the webinar today, and I hope you found it beneficial and that it provided you with some insight into how flash memory technology is rapidly evolving. As you can see the growth of the drives that are being manufactured for SSD and how that's going to, eventually, if not already, surpass what's available from spinning disk and all the benefits and improvements in performance that they afford. I'd like to spend a couple minutes talking a little bit about PKA, who we are, and some of the solutions and services we provide to our customers. Having a little trouble here building out the slide. Can everyone see the screen? David, I'm sorry, I'm not able to build it out. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, we can see your screen, so we'll look at it
Yes.
through.
In this view, is that okay? Apologize,
Yes.
I don't know why I'm building out. Okay, so PKA, we're essentially an IT infrastructure integrator, and we're focused on architecting and deploying solutions that help our customers to reduce their cost, improve performance, and mitigate risk. As we know, that's pretty much what, everyone's in cost savings mode today, and we understand that, and that's where our focus is. So we've been doing that for many number of years now, and it's worked out really well. We're able to help our customers, cut costs, improve performance, and minimize risk based on the solutions and offerings that we provide. As David earlier mentioned, we're a certified woman-owned enterprise, which means that we have obviously over 20 years experience supplying IT solutions to a variety of companies, Fortune 500 companies, small and medium businesses, as well as state and local government. And our executives are members, and they sit on the council, the boards of the following councils, as you can see here: Intel Solutions Provider Advisory Council, and two of HPE's council, one being a public sector and the other technology services. So we're very proud of being involved in being the voice to our customers, to the manufacturers that we partner with. And it basically helps to have that voice so that they understand what customers are really expecting out there from a product set in terms of improvements and futures, and we're able to provide that to the manufacturers. We've also forged strong alliances with many ISVs, including the ones you see below, that allow us to leverage our product knowledge and service to solve our customers' infrastructure and complex solution challenges, whether it's at the desktop or within the four walls of the data center. And because we don't manufacture anything, what's important is our people and the relationships and partnerships that we have with these manufacturers, and the fact that we are certified. All of our sales, pre-sales, delivery resources are certified at the highest levels required by the manufacturers. So it's all about who we are in terms of our resources and servicing our customers. Some of the solutions that we provide around storage are consolidation projects, virtualization and optimization, backup and recovery, as well as data management. From a virtualization perspective, we provide server virtualization solution, application virtualization, storage, and virtual desktop implementations. And around big data, we focus around data analytics and specifically SAP HANA as well, in addition to other data analytics products, columnar databases, Hadoop, and as well as Vertica, and what HPE coins Haven, which is a consolidated big data offering, which encompasses everything from the database to analytic tools and reporting. And in the security space, we focus on intelligence, risk management, and data protection. And cloud services, it's all about infrastructure support and application consolidation, data center optimization, backup to the cloud, bursting to the cloud, creating both private, public, and hybrid cloud solutions for our customers. And here's a list of some of the services that we provide, quite a bit around assessments across server, storage, networking, data migration. We can maintain contracts for customers from a multi-vendor perspective, managing all of your service contracts. We have a managed print services offering. And from an installation and implementation perspective, that's across, again, the entire infrastructure, whether it's server, storage, or networking. And we also provide relocation services, both physical, moves. And from a design and architecture perspective, we help our customers design solutions across, again, the entire infrastructure stack, and provide training services as well. And one of the things that we have the ability to do, and customers really like what we can do in this respect, and take advantage of this, is we have a state-of-the-art demo center at our location here on the raised floor, and we offer this out specifically for customer usage. So we can do things like proof of concepts, evaluations, testing, benchmarks, live and remote demonstrations, and also have the ability to provide loaner equipment to our customers as well. And lastly, I'd just like to welcome the opportunity to meet with you to further discuss your flash memory requirements, or to determine how we can help you with any projects and initiatives you may have. So again, appreciate your time, and David, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you, Russ. Before I close the call, I just want to remind everyone that we'll be sending a link for the slides and a recording, and again, a copy of Enterprise Strategy Group's white paper, Rapidly Evolving Flash Storage Architecture Delivers Business Value. Be sure to complete the survey that follows this presentation so we can send you your gift card for an enjoyable coffee and a treat. Be sure to mark down on your calendar our next Tech Talk, scheduled for October 2nd, where we will be reviewing software-defined networking. Look for an invitation shortly. Once again, thank you all for attending.